Hi everyone, we're going to talk today about the 3-minute film. One of your first assignments is going to be to create a pitch. So you should have gone ahead, you should have looked at the 3-minute film assignment before the break. That was on My Ed Online. I noticed that only one of you did this. So before you even attempt to go through the pitch, go to the 3-minute film assignment and take a look at an overview of what the expectations for this assignment is. Okay, once you've done that, then let's continue with this. Your pitch is going to be due on March 23rd. That's pretty quickly, but you have had time to think about this. We have a textual analysis coming up as well, and there are going to be times when you're working on two things at one time. So in order to really use your time wisely, I've got a schedule for you, and that's the last slide that we're going to look at. So let's take a look at where we should be right now. We are in the final chapter of your production reel. So what should be complete is you should have films for film production role 1, 3 minutes for that. You should have about 3 minutes for film production role 2. And we're not working on film production role 3. If you are in a position where you don't have 3 minutes for that, I am going to create an action plan for a catch-up plan for you to help you get caught up so that when we begin year 2, we are all set on the production portfolio and we can concentrate on the comparative study and the high-level production collaborative project. If you are standard level, then you have a little wiggle room, and you will not be working on the high level, but you'll work on your production films instead. Okay, so let's look at Reel 3. Reel 3 is going to be begin with a blank slate for 10 seconds and 3 minutes maximum. That does not include that 10 seconds of blank slate. So if you get into a position where you begin editing or putting that together, you can go ahead and work on that. All right, so when you're thinking about 3 minutes, you really need to look at the 3-act structure and to try to organize the events of your film. You want to split up the 3 minutes into Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3. You don't want the climax of your film to happen at the beginning. It's not going to give people incentive to watch the rest of the film. So make sure that you have explored, you've looked around, you are looking at the different styles of films that you could possibly create, which I gave you in the previous lesson. Once you are, you have something of an idea, you need to get your team put together. Now, as I said earlier, since we are not in school and I cannot speculate on when we will be, but we cannot count on that. So you need to think about how you're going to put that team together. It is not a requirement that you have a team. You can certainly do this film on your own. Just remember, you are only reporting in the capacity of one role. Even though many IB film students are solo on this and they are the only one working on the film, yet although we know they're doing everything, you can only report in your pages in that one role. Okay, so think about, your opening shot, what this is going to look like. You need to tell us about this in your pitch. So you need to give us an idea of what we're going to see when the film opens. It's just a good way to persuade your audience to want to watch the rest of the film. Really think about those characters. The character development can happen in so many ways. It can happen through the script. It can happen through the cinematography, how we view them, the acting, the blocking. There are so many things with character development that you need to be looking at. We need to care about the people in the film. They cannot just be subjects, walking around or moving around, and we need to really understand and relate to their situation. Okay, so don't just tell us who the character is, really show them and show them what the character wants. Okay, Aaron Sorkin is a top of the line screenwriter, so listen to the guy. There are some videos here for you to look at, and a lot of good ideas to help you come up with ideas for your film. But remember, it's 3 minutes. You don't want it to be too complicated. But there are some basic things you want to make sure you're including, such as step 1 through 5. You've got your failure, your ambition, the conflict. There's always a problem. And then success, but at what cost? You win, you lose. And then, of course, redemption. And that's your resolution and whatnot. Okay, your character arc should be evident. We really need to know, why do we even care about this protagonist? What is relatable? How can we understand? It should be something that we have all experienced on some level. So the plot is very important. The plot should have conflict in that character is going after something. So it should also involve a theme, and that's going to really help stylistically with your, making this film visually appealing as well. And, have your character change or evolve. You want some kind of dynamic involved here. It is a 3-minute film, so the hero's journey may apply, but that is just a lot to put in 3 minutes. But it's just an idea to look at in terms of structuring the events and sequential order of what happens. Of course, the best short films are the simplest ones. Instead of great big scenarios and big things happening, really, really focus on those characters, because that's what we care about more than anything else. Pixar has a wonderful site and storytelling formulas you might find very helpful. So there are links to this on here. Also, beyond your main character, you need a compelling antagonist, to create that conflict. So, the more you are watching, the more you're exposing yourself to these films, then the better you're going to be at coming up with these ideas. Visually, think about your color palette and think about how the objects in the stories are going to help tell the story. Remember, we're using cinematic elements. We're not simply just telling someone the story, we're showing the story. So all of these links will help you get some ideas for that. And that's already on there. So just remember that your ideas come from your own experience. So, think about things that you have gone through. What do you think people care about? What kind of characters do you think that people will relate to? Write what you know. And as Stanley Kubrick said, if you can think it or write it, you can film it. So be ambitious with that. Really go out and make that film. Okay, so short films, they still require those same skills that you need in a really long feature-length film. So just really study the structure, and if you're doing any kind of script writing, make sure you have dialogue in the film in order to fulfill the requirements for script writing. Some more links here for you to enjoy, and all of the links that I had previously are listed here as well. So, go there and find things on your own as well. All right, so now I'm going to talk about the pitch. I believe that we've done this on some level before, but for your 3-minute film, I want you to create a video of yourself presenting this film idea. Okay, it's just less than a minute. This is a film specific task because in the industry you have to do this. You have to sell your idea. You have to get the funding and the support for your film, and you're not going to do it by just randomly sharing your ideas. You have to formally present it, and that is what you will do in this class as well. Okay? I do have a link. I'm not sure if this link is working, but I will supply a couple of examples of that on the My Ed Online assignment for you today. Okay, so let's just talk quickly about how to prepare and what the requirements for the pitch is. Another good thing about the pitch assignment is really going to force you to think about what this film is going to be about and help you get a jump start on planning. You don't have to have the whole entire film planned at this point, but you do need an idea. And I can tell from that idea if it's going to work or not. Okay, and I'll be able to give you feedback and let you know, you need to work on this, or you need a little bit more of that, or you need to take this out. And that's really going to help you in terms of planning that film in the pre-production phase. So I will be your producer. Here is a wonderful link, Crash Course Film Production for giving a pitch. So please take a look at that. It'll be a very good 8 minutes to help you devise that as a pitch and learn how to present that professionally. Okay. This is just a sample pitch. It's not even a very good one, but it just is an example of how it will include everything that you need to include. Just very briefly explain what your film is about, but just in a sentence or two. You don't want to give it away. You just want to give the film's premise, you know. So you can say, my film is a story of an ordinary girl who finds herself on an extraordinary quest. Okay, that's a little bit interesting, is it not? The film opens with a quick pace montage. Now, this person is an editor, so they're going to talk in terms of how this is going to look with their editing. Quick pace montage of a film student who, as we learned, is researching online for an economics report. Okay, I don't know if that makes sense or not, but just give you an idea of who this is. We can kind of relate to that because we have to write reports and we know the stress of that, right? Then Selena is thrust into a world of top secret adventure after she mistakenly downloads a top secret code. Now, we're not going to give away the rest of the story. We're simply giving the premise, and that's cool to do. Okay, gets you interested. So you're just kind of going over what the gist of what this film is going to be about. Okay, so what you need to do in your pitch as well is tell us what your role is, and kind of outline your statement of intention. Okay, so in this pitch, I will take on role of editor in this action-packed thriller adventure film. Okay, you're also giving us the genre and kind of stylistically what this film is going to look like. So through rhythmic editing, intellectual montage, and parallel storylines, I will introduce my character and create tension in the style of Michael Kahn as seen in Raiders of the Lost Ark. Okay, so we're giving the techniques, we're giving the kind of the stylistic approach that we're going to take. We're talking about our influence, and it's all there. And guess what? Once you have delivered a very well developed pitch, you practically have your statement of intention there. And I'll be able to give you feedbacks to tell you, what needs to be worked on, or if it's perfect, or where to go from there. And then we're just going to really try to engage our, well, in real life, it would be the people who are funding us, but we'll want to intrigue them. So it's kind of a call to action, if you want to think of it in literary terms. So you want to end with something that's really going to get everyone's attention. So will Selena manage to escape government officials who are now pursuing her? Find out more in my short film, Selena's Secret. Okay? So if you make it sound good enough and you can illustrate your idea well enough, the person who you are delivering this to should have a very good idea what your film is about, even what it might even look like, and whether or not they want to see it. Okay? So that's the whole idea of the pitch. All right, it's really going to help you get a jump start on getting your film idea and creation started. It turns out to be, that really is one of the hardest parts of the whole process. Okay, the formal requirements for this are you need to make sure that you talk about those opening shots, you talk about the characters and the action and the dramatic situation, okay? You want to give the premise. Don't give the whole story away, but give us an idea of what this film is going to be about. So kind of explain, what keeps the viewer watching, what's going to be so interesting about it. Well, we kind of put Selena in a place where, we're also film students. We are also having to, create reports, and we have deadlines. So we know what that pressure is like. And we think it's kind of cool when we break codes. I don't know if any of you have actually done that, but we all kind of like that idea. So, yeah, it's something that we would be definitely interested in. Okay, make sure you identify your role. Needs to be one of the five: the director, cinematographer, sound designer, editor, scriptwriter. Do not take on a role that you've already done. Make sure it's your role 3 choice. Okay. And then, identify where you've got your inspiration. That's really going to help when it comes time to write your statement of intention, because guess what? You've already done most of the work. Okay, I do have some exemplars. This is already made available to you, but if you haven't looked at it, you can, take a look at some of these 3-minute films and see what other people have done. But don't just go there. I don't really like to use student work as examples. I just want you to see what other people have done. Really prefer that you go and you watch some award-winning 3-minute short films, such as what I provided to you in the 3-minute film lesson. Okay, if you have any questions, please contact me. I'm not hearing from a lot of you, and that kind of worries me a little bit, because I need to know that you're alive and well, and that, you're working on this. Here's the thing: if it's not done, it puts you at a really big disadvantage, because we don't have time to do this next year. Next year, we have our agenda, we have our curriculum, and it's full. Next year is already going to be really tough. So whatever is not done this year is going to make next year that much harder. So make it a priority to get this done. Okay, that's all I can say. The other thing I want to tell you is you have evaluated requirements. You need to be clear, concise. You need to explain your concept. You need to be really engaging. You need to make it interesting, because if your pitch is interesting, then guess what? Your film is probably going to be interesting. And you know what? Be professional. Show some passion. Show some confidence. If you're not confident about your idea, your audience is going to fall asleep and hate your film. Okay, so that's not what we want. We want to exuberate a lot of positive energy on this. Okay, after your pitch, I will say, yes, you'll get the green light, or no, you don't get the green light yet. But the benefit of that is that you don't start on something that's not going to work and then find out after months, a whole month of working on it, that, oops, I should have done something else. So I will be able to help you with that. This is due on March 23rd. Okay, it is no more than 1 minute, anywhere from 30 seconds to 60 seconds. Create a short video of yourself giving this presentation. All right, now here is a look at all of our due dates coming up. I just want you to be very, very clear that we don't have any time to waste, okay? So it is now March, and March, what is the day? I don't know. I think it's the 17th. So we are now beginning the 3-minute films, working on the pitch. You'll get that approved or disapproved. You'll continue to work on your inquiry and research, and fix that statement of intention. And then your inquiry for the 3-minute film is going to be due March 30th. All right. So that means you're doing all the pre-production work, you're writing your storyboard, you are writing your script. So that's a little bit of a push, but guess what? You need a push, because I feel like the more time you have to do something, the less time you actually work on it. And looking at the rest of the year here, we don't have a lot of time to finish this. Okay, so in April, you're going to begin production. Also, at the beginning of April, we're going to start reviewing the textual analysis and looking at some of the things that I think will help you in terms of, especially after looking at what you have done on the mocks, make sure you have reviewed that information, that feedback that I gave you for the mock analysis, okay? And then April 13th, we're going to begin our 4 weeks of the textual analysis. We will have 4 weeks to do that. And, you know, it's not full time. It's not like your whole life is going to stop and you work on the textual analysis. But you do need to know that you'll be working on the textual analysis and the film at the same time. So a lot of good planning is going to be necessary. You really need to think about, you know, how much time are you going to research, and then how much time are you going to work on your film. It could be that you have planned your film so well that you might knock out the filming in 1 week and have it done. That's entirely possible to do. I've known people that have shot a 3-minute film in 1 day, but it was a lot of planning ahead of time. You know, that doesn't happen on accident. Okay, so to get back to the schedule, just keep this around. I've got this on the cover page for the class. I am not going to be putting all of the information in the day-to-day classes because the days have been getting mixed up. But your lessons will be on the MyEd Online, and when you need to go to a lesson, I will indicate that to you. Okay, I'll let you know. It will tell you on your lesson, go to MyEd Online for this lesson. Okay, like you saw today. All right, so then on April 14th, you will have 1 minute of your film will be due, and you will be into weeks 2 and 3 and 4 of the textual analysis. On May 11th, your textual analysis is going to be due. So that in week 3, you'll get feedback. So in week 4, you need to turn in that final copy. Okay, after that, you can work on editing your 3-minute film, and then you'll have about several weeks to edit, and then that will be due May 21st, right about the time we start wrapping things up for the end of the year. Hopefully, we'll be back in class by then, but whether we are or not really isn't going to be an issue because most likely your film is not going to be shot in school anyway. And also the textual analysis is considered an independent effort. It's not something that we do in class in school anyway. You know, I'll give you the lesson, give you some reviews and things like that. So both of these things are things that you would have done outside of the class anyway. All right, so, and then after you turn in your textual analysis and after your Role 3 film is done, we'll spend the rest of the year just working on assembling what you have. So then I'll know, you know, what you need to, what you're missing or what you need to work on. And depending on what you might be lacking, then I'm going to give you summer homework. You will have summer homework to complete any films that you have not done, because we're not going to have time in year 2 to do any of the Role 1 or 2 films anymore, okay? So that's going to put us all in a real good position when we come back in year 2 and can complete the year. Okay, if you have any questions, please contact me. That's the end of what I have for you today. So at this point, you need to begin working on that pitch. Make sure you are establishing who your group is, if you have a group, and I'll need to know that as well. You might want to include that in your pitch also so that I know who is working with who. Okay? All right. That's all for now. So cheerio, and we'll talk again. Bye-bye.